Hi, and welcome to this Miradi Basics quick overview tutorial. You can jump to the individual views in Miradi that are included in this demo by clicking on the hyperlinks in the video description below. Launching Miradi brings up the welcome screen showing all of your Miradi projects. Here you can create a new project or open one of your existing projects. Here I'm going to open the marine example that comes shipped with Miradi. There is a step-by-step wizard to help new users learn how to use Miradi and the open standards at the top of the screen, but for this tutorial I'm going to grab the splitter in the middle of the screen and drag it to the top. You can explore and enter data in various views. To change views, you'll use the control in the top left. Let's start here in the summary view, and we're on the project tab, and you can enter basic information about your project, like the name of the project, a description, and much more. When you see this icon, you can click and open up a scalable dialog box to see more of the text. In the Team tab, you can enter the members of your team along with contact details, position, and the skills that they have. In the Other Organizations tab, you can enter the partner organizations and their roles. Also explore the Scope and Location tab to see what you can enter there, but definitely make sure to check out the Planning tab, as this is where you specify project start and end dates and work plan start and end dates. You also specify the fiscal year here, and Miradi needs this information later when you're detailing your work plan and budget. Now let's look at the diagram view. This is where you enter information for your situation analysis here on the Conceptual Model tab, and also where you build your theory of change on a results chain diagram. Apart from drawing diagrams, which you create by clicking on the buttons in the control bar, you can double-click on every item to bring up their properties box. Here I'll open up this intermediate result. This provides you with all of the information fields you need to capture the knowledge you have on your project. Notice that Miradi allows you to enter quite a bit of data, but only do so if it's useful for you and your team. Don't think you need to fill in every box. Of course, factor property boxes are factor specific. So for an intermediate result, we'll have different properties than, say, a strategy. Here you can see you have the ability to rate the potential impact and feasibility of strategies. When you want to create a new diagram, simply right-click with the mouse or use the two-finger click on a Mac and create a new diagram. You can quickly export any diagram by clicking on the File menu and export current page as and pick whichever format you want. In Diagram View, you can hover the cursor over any factor to display the properties of that factor. For example, I can see the objective statement, the indicator statement, and the current results status information simply by positioning the mouse over these icons. Next up is the Target Viability View. Here you can do your viability analyses for the conservation targets that you've selected. Notice when I highlight different items over in the tree on the left, how the information on the bottom changes. There are multiple buttons along the top that give you the ability to create new elements in the viability view. Note that you can switch between two different viability modes, the key attribute mode and the simple mode. This view is also where you can create target viability measurements once your team has some monitoring data. This allows you to see trends over time and evaluate if you're on track to reach your desired future status. Next, we'll go to threat ratings. Make sure to have your direct threats linked to the conservation targets in your diagram view. Only then can you rate those relationships in the threats rating view. Simply click on any of the connections and use the rating criteria that pop up in the lower panel to rate the threat-target relationship. Miradi will display the overall threat rating on the right. It will show you the target threat ratings on the bottom and deliver an overall project rating in the bottom right. If your team wants to use the more detailed stress-based threat analyses, you can switch modes using the pull-down menu at the top. Next up is the strategic plan view. Here you have a few options. You can choose the pre-laid out action plan or monitoring plan to use straight out of the box, or you can build your own custom plan. The custom option allows you to choose which elements you want to view. For example, let's say I wanted to view monitoring data for each goal and objective. So for rows, I'll pick goal, objective, indicator, measurement, and future status. For columns, I'll pick progress, progress details, current status, and the details. This gives me exactly the information, rows and columns that I was interested in. You can assign a unique name for each custom view that you create. This will allow you to easily pull up that view, and when you share the project with others, they'll be able to have access to that same custom view. This view is also a great place to edit any existing content. For example, if you discover a typo, you can click on any of these rows of data and see the data entry fields down below and edit them directly, and those changes will be visible in any other view in Miradi. You can export any of these tables from Strategic Plan view either as an image, or even better yet, as a rich text format file that you can open up and edit and modify in Word. Next up is the Work Plan view. This is where all of your strategies and activities are listed, where you specify start and end dates for these action items, where you assign people to actually implement them, and where you can estimate work effort in terms of the number of work days and also identify other expenses. You can specify the who information in this collapsed table state that we're looking at right now by clicking on this widget that brings up a list of the names of the team members. However, to make actual workday assignments, you need to come up and add the assignment row under the Customize Table option. And if I do that, I can then highlight any of these editing cells and put in the number of workdays for any of the work team members. If you assign individual work unit rate information to the team members and add in the projected expenses, you can get the budget totals for the overall project and each of the strategies and activities. Notice that you can directly manage the team members in this tab, on the People tab, and you can create account codes and funding sources. And if you've entered that information, I'll go back to Work Plan, expand this particular monitoring task, and I'm going to turn on the additional row for projected expenses and highlight one of the expense items. I'll come down here. You can see that the expense item can be assigned to those account codes and funding sources. Lastly, I'll show you the reports view. Here you can create your own report templates with the content that you want. You can pick any of this content that you see displayed here, and this includes the strategic plan custom views. You can give your report a new name. And once you're done, you can run any of the reports listed with the Run Selected button. I do want to mention that there's a new automated report feature that allows you to run nicely formatted Word reports directly from Miradi Share. That's included in the organizational account features. So see the link to a demonstration video that the Puget Sound partnership has provided in the video description below. And that concludes this quick demo of the basic views of Miradi. Make sure to check out our more in-depth tutorials on how to answer the most commonly asked questions in nature conservation using Miradi and Miradi Share. Have a great day.